Welcome to today's class, Neuroglia. So what is Neuroglia? Neuroglia or glia is the supporting cell of the nervous system. Okay, brain supporting crew, also known as it is the brain supporting crew. So definition, you can order it as glia means glue, and neuroglia is the cells that hold the nervous system together and take care of the neurons, right? That is neuroglia for y'all. And what is the key points that you have to remember about the neuroglia? First point is that they do not fire action potentials. So what does that mean? They are non-excitable. Only neurons send the electrical signals. Okay, glial cells are non-excitable. Now they are everywhere. For every one neuron, you can see that about 10 to 15 glial cells present. In every one neuron, about 10 to 15 glial cells are present. And now they also cause problems. Okay, what are the problems that they cause? Most brain tumors start in the glial cells, not in the neurons. Most brain problems are caused in the glial cells. Now they're also the cleanup and defense team. How do they do that? They're very active during the infection or injury time, so that they can clean up the injury and the defense, they can defend the injury, okay, as defense team, and they can clean up the infection if there's any. Okay, that is how they clean up and defense team. Now think of it like this. Okay, neurons are the rock star guitarists. So there's a guitarist. Okay, now glial cells are the roadies, sound techs, medics, and security. Okay, now, without security, without medics, without the sound technicians and the roadies, can there be any show? Not, right. So, the rock star guitarist can't alone take away the show. They need the supporting systems. All of these supporting systems they need for a proper show. So, that is how the glial cells are very important in neurons. Now, next, types of neuralgia. Okay, types of neuralgia, they live in two places. So we split them up, okay? First one, central neuralgia. It is the place, it is in brain and spinal cord, which is the CNS, okay? Astrocytes, type 1. It is star-shaped caretakers. They are nothing but star-shaped caretakers. Astrocyte. Okay? Shape obviously looks like stars. Then what is its job? It feeds the neurons, clean up the extra chemicals, and it forms a blood-brain barrier and repair the damage if anything is caused. Okay, that is its job, astrocyte's job. Okay, and simple way to remember, it is the mom of the brain. It is the mom of the brain. Now next is microglia, which is tiny immune guards. Now what is its job? Brain's immune cells. Okay, they are nothing but brain's immune cells, and they hunt the bacteria, viruses, and eat the dead neurons and debris. Okay, they are the brain's immune cells. What does the immune cells do? Obviously, they hunt the bacteria, viruses, and if there's any dead neurons and debris, they eat them up. So that is the job of the microglia. Now, how to remember in simple way the white blood cells of the brain? That is the job of the white blood cells of the brain. The same way white blood cells do immune mechanism. So white blood cells of the brain are nothing but the microglia. Same mechanism the microglia is doing here. Okay. Next is the oligodendrocytes. Now what is oligodendrocytes? They are the insulation crew. You know what the insulation is, right? So what is its job? It wraps the myelin around the CNS axon. That is the insulation. Okay. Now one cell can wrap many axons here. Okay. One cell can wrap many axons here. That is its job. Now in simple way, you can remember it as the electricians who put plastic coating on the wires so that the signals go fast. Here. Now you can remember as oligo, which is very few. Oligo means few. But each cell wraps a few axons here. So each cell wraps few axons here. Okay. Oligo means few. Now each cell wraps few axons here. One cell can wrap many axons. One cell, few axons are wrapped. Okay, that is oligodendrocytes. Now here, this is ependymal cells, oligodendrocytes, astrocytes and microglia for you all. They are the central nervous system, types of neuroglia in central nervous system, whereas in peripheral, you can see two types. One is satellite, the other one is Schwann cell. We'll talk about it in next slides. Okay. See, next is the peripheral neuroglial cells. Now, what is peripheral neuroglial cells? Okay, they are in nerves outside the brain or spinal cord. Okay, outside the brain or spinal cord, peripheral neuroglial cells. Now, main ones are Schwann cells. Okay, main ones are Schwann cells. They make what? They make myelin in peripheral nerves, like oligodendrocytes, but in PNS. So here, oligodendrocytes make the, see, oligodendrocytes, they wrap myelin along the CNS axons, right? Now here, Schwann cells does that in PNS. They make myelin in peripheral nerves. One Schwann cell equals to one chunk of myelin. So, many, that means. Okay, they make myelin in peripheral and one chunk of myelin they can make. Okay. Now, this is a quick table for you all to remember. Astrocytes, its location is in CNS. And what is its main job? It feeds and cleans neurons. And next, microglia. And what is its main job? It is located in CNS. Its main job is to kill germs and eat the trash, right? Oligodendrocytes, and its location is obviously in CNS. And what is its main job here? Insulate CNS axons with myelin sheath, right? Now, Schwann cell. It is located in PNS and its main job is insulate PNS axons. This is how you can remember the quick table for your examination. Next, we'll be talking about astrocytes in detail. So, astrocytes are nothing but star-shaped helpers of the brain. Okay, they are called astrocytes because of astro, which means star, and they look like stars with lots of arms reaching out. Okay, lots of arms will be reaching out like this. Okay, you find them everywhere in the brain and spinal cord. You find them everywhere in brain and spinal cord. Okay, two types of astrocytes. Now it is divided into two types. Okay, first one is fibrous. Okay. Next is protoplasmic. First we'll be talking about fibrous astrocytes. Okay, here it lives mostly in white matter of the brain, and that's the part packed with the myelinated axons. Now, that is the part which is packed in myelinated axons. So, astrocytes have myelinated axons, that you can remember now. Okay. Next, it looks like long, thin with smooth arms. Long, thin, smooth arms. Okay. Next, its special job, their arms are wrapped around with blood capillaries and form tight junctions. So, they are wrapped around what? Blood capillaries and form what? Tight junctions. Tight junctions are formed here in fibrous astrocytes. Now, next is blood-brain barrier. Okay, security gate here. What is blood-brain barrier here? This creates a blood-brain barrier, right? Okay, and what is blood-brain barrier? What does it do? It is a security gate. It stops bad stuff in the blood like toxins and germs from getting into brain tissue. That is blood-brain barrier. Okay. Now this tight junction, with the tight junction, blood-brain barrier is caused. It is created. Now, created blood-brain barrier, it acts as a security gate and it stops the stuff like toxins, germs from getting into the brain tissue. Done. Now also what also it does, it covers the nerve cells and synapses also. It also covers nerve cell and synapses as well. Okay. For what? For support. So it acts as a support system for the synapses as well. It covers the nerve cells and acts as a support system for synapses. Now, protoplasmic astrocytes. So what are they? They are the bushy ones. Astrocytic are the star-shaped ones. Protoplasmic means the bushy ones. They live in where? They live in gray matter. Astrocytic live in white matter. Now that's where neuron cell bodies and the synapses are formed. Okay. So here the neuron cell bodies and synapses are present. Now how does these look? They look short, thick and very branched arms. So they are very much branched. They are short in length and they are thick. Whereas astrocyte, they are long, thin and smooth. Okay. Now what is its job here? Their arms run between nerve cell bodies. Their arms run between nerve cell bodies and synapses as well. Like a sponge holding everything in place. Okay. It is like a sponge that holds everything in its place. That is protoplasmic astrocytes for you. And what astrocytes do now? What is its job? So astrocytes, they have 5 main jobs. First is brain scaffolding. You can remember as brain scaffolding. What does that mean? They twist around neurons and form a support network. So they twist around neurons and they form a support network. Without them, brain would be a mess. Like it would be very messy. Okay. Now security at the blood-brain barrier. That you know that they control what gets from the blood to brain and let glucose in, keep poison out. All the poisonous contents, all the toxins are kept out, whereas it lets only the glucose in. That is the security which it has at the blood-brain barrier. Now, maintain the neighborhood environment. What is the third point? It maintains neighborhood environment. How? It keeps the fluid around the neurons called the extracellular fluid, and it cleans and it maintains the balance. Okay. Now it soaks up the extra potassium or chemicals after a neuron fires. So when the neuron fires, it soaks up the extra potassium or any other chemicals after the neuron fires. Now the next point is it delivers supplies or take out the trash. We already discussed about it, that it supplies the neurons with calcium and potassium. With calcium and potassium whenever needed. Also control the neurotransmitter levels. It controls what? It controls the neurotransmitter levels. At where? At the synapses. So that the signals don't go crazy here. Okay. It is always under the control. Next is recycle neurotransmitters. How does this happen here? After a neuron talks to another neuron, astrocytes help in sucking up leftover neurotransmitter and recycles it again. So it prevents the synapses from getting jammed. So the extra neurotransmitter, whatever is there, that is sucked up by so after a neuron is talking to other neuron, astrocytes suck up the leftover neurotransmitter and it recycles it so that the synapses won't get jammed here. So that is how you can remember as recycle neurotransmitters. So these are the 5 main jobs of the astrocytes which you have to remember. Now here, if neurons are the computers in an office, you can remember this way, that if neurons are the computers in an office, what is the fibroastrocytes and what are the protoplasmic astrocytes? Fibrous astrocytes are building the building's outer walls and security system. So they are the outer walls and security. Okay. Now, protoplasmic astrocytes, what are they? They are the generators, IT support, and the power supply guys, keeping each workstation running. It generally maintains, it is a support system, it maintains everything. Okay, it here, okay, and it keeps the power supply always on so that it keeps you guys working. Each workstation should run appropriately in the manner it has to. All that maintenance is done by the protoplasmic astrocytes. Whereas the outer walls, fibrous astrocytes, they are the outer walls. Okay, the security, the blood brain barriers and all the outer walls, right? The security system and the outer walls are the fibrous astrocytes. Sure, that is how you can remember. So this is the image of the fibroastrocytes and the protoplasmic astrocytes. Okay, now the diagram shows you what the support cells of your brain, not the neurons that send messages. Okay, so think of them as the maintenance crew for the nervous system. So here first one, as you know, astrocytes are the star-shaped cells. Okay, astrocytes you can remember as star-shaped helper cells. Okay, now they're called as astro because it is in star shape because they look like that. Now fibrous astrocytes, they are found in white matter. Okay, remember that, white matter, found in white matter, whereas protoplasmic astrocytes are found in gray matter. Okay, this is found in gray matter, fibrous is found in white matter. Now what do? Okay, they touch the blood vessels. Their arms wrap around the blood vessels. See, can you see this? Yo. Okay, can you see this? Their arms wrap around the blood vessels. To pull what? To pull the nutrients from the blood and give it to the neurons, like a food delivery guy. Now it also touches what? It touches the axons. It touches the axons here. They wrap around the long nerve cables. Long nerve cables. They help it repair the damage. They help in repairing the axon damage and keeps the cables healthy. Okay. Work with oligodendrocytes. Okay, oligodendrocytes, what do? They are the cells that make the insulation tape. Oligodendrocytes, insulation tape around the axon so the signals travel fast, which is the myelin sheath. Astrocytes support them. That is its job here. So fibrous astrocytes are the highway maintenance crew. They maintain the long roads, which is the axons. They maintain the long roads. Now, protoplasmic astrocytes are nothing but they're found in gray matter. Okay, then you can also say they also touch the synapses here. They touch the synapses here. See, you see the presynaptic terminal and postsynaptic terminal dendrite here. Presynaptic terminal and postsynaptic dendrite here, right? So that's where the two neurons chat. Okay, protoplasmic astrocytes, they wrap around this chat zone. Okay, here. Now what do they do up after the wrapping up? They clean up and control the chat. How? They suck up the extra chemicals. the neurotransmitters, right? Extra chemicals, neurotransmitters. So these protoplasmic astrocytes, they suck up all of this after the neurons talk so that the signal stops when it should. And they also feed the synapses. Okay. Now they also touch blood vessels here. Same as fibrous, they get food from the blood. They get food from the blood here and they feed the synapses here. That is the protoplasmic astrocytes for you. Next is microglia. Now what is microglia? Microglia is nothing but the tiny immune soldiers of the brain. They are the tiny immune soldiers of the brain. So what are they? They are smallest glial cells. Micro means small, right? So they are the smallest glial cells. They are not born in brain. Okay, they are not born in brain, but they come from monocytes, a type of white blood cells, and they sneak into the brain from blood during the development. They sneak into the brain. They are not born in the brain. They come from monocytes, which are the type of white blood cells, and they sneak into the brain from the blood during the development. That is how they get into the brain. The small cells, tiny immune soldiers. Now, brain's immune system. So, they are brain's immune system. How? Rest of the body has white blood cells, whereas brain has microglia. Microglia. So, brain has only microglia, and its job is to immune the brain. They are the immune cells for the brain, protect the brain from all the toxins. Now, what do they do? Two main jobs here of microglia. First is garbage collectors and killers. Now, why do we say garbage collectors and killers? When bacteria, viruses, or dead neurons show up, microglia, what will microglia do here? It will eat them up. Eat them up. So this process is called as phagocytosis. You know this very well. Okay. So this process knowing as phagocytosis, it is literally eating up the garbage and it kills the whatever viruses and bacteria are present. So that is how we can remember it as garbage collectors and killers. So in simple way, they are like Pac-Man. They gobble up all the germs and trash so that the neurons stay healthy. Okay. Next is what? First responders for injury. So they are first responders to injury. If there's any injury, they are the first one to respond. So normally what do they do? They chill with tiny arms out, scanning for trouble. They are always ready for if there's any trouble, they just scan for it, any trouble around. Okay. If there's any infection or brain injury, they immediately rush to the spot. Okay, they immediately rush to the spot, change the shape of itself and turn into a miniature macrophage. Now they turn themselves into a miniature macrophages. So what is a macrophage here? Big eater cell. Okay, it eats it eats in big. So it's a big eater cell. So microglia becomes the brain's version here. So microglia becomes the brain's version here. That is how it is the first responder for any injury which happens. Okay. So in simple way, you can remember brain is a gated community. Astrocytes run the gate and utilities for you. Now microglia, what will it do? It is the local polis plus it is the hazmat team. It is the hazmat team. Hazard, hazmat team is nothing but the immediate hazard teams. So most days what will they do? They patrol quietly only without when any trouble. So when trouble hits, they swarm in and clean it up. Whenever there's any trouble, they immediately swarm in and clean it up. Important thing to notice here is too much microglia activity can cause inflammation and damage. This has to be remembered that too much of microglial activity can cause inflammation and damage, and it can be easily linked to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease as well. Okay, so microglia are nothing but the brain's immune cells. They hunt the germs, eat the dead stuff up, and rush to injury sites to clean up. Okay, to clean everything up. So that is microglia for you all. We'll be discussing about oligodendrites and peripheral neuroglial cells in next class. Thank you.